I get a lot of questions about what type of glue I recommend, so I thought I would just record my long-winded answer. Hi, I'm Brooke from Hooray Paper. I sell SVG digital files that you can download and use with your paper cutting machine like a Cricut or a Silhouette. So let's jump into my beginning of my crafting journey, paper crafting journey. So I originally just grabbed my daughter's Elmer's school glue that I had on hand. She was a toddler at the time and we had just started doing crafts, and that stuff is horrible. Don't even attempt it. Even if it's in the house, don't even try it. It's the worst possible glue for at least the type of paper crafts that I do. So my mother-in-law sent us a card in the mail, and a little piece of it had fallen off and there was this little strip of stickiness. So I asked, what the heck is this, And let me just tell you, I was a graphic designer for 11 years and then left when I had my baby, and I was totally new to crafting. So I really didn't know anything about crafting, only about designing. So my mother-in-law told me that she had used this crafter's tape, which this is really nice tape glue. But not for what I was using it for. So the main issue is that it's just not very permanent, and just like her card, my things were falling apart, and it's a certain, width. And so if my tab wasn't as thick, then some would go on the desk and it just was messy, but mainly it just wasn't very permanent. So I went to the craft store and I found this, I can't remember what it was called. I threw it away because I felt like it had no purpose at all. I'm sure that it does. It works for some kind of craft, but it did not work for my craft, so I threw it out. But it was a clear glue, and I think I picked it out because the tip where the glue comes out was like the most fine point that they had in the store. But it was just as bad as Elmer's, if not worse, because it just spread more, and I felt like it had more water in it than the Elmer's. So there's water-based glues, and that is not good for paper crafting because it makes the paper really wavy, and that was what was happening with the Elmer's glue. Also, a tip for glue is don't go too heavy. A tiny amount will do more than you think it will, I promise. If you just glob it on there, it just comes out of the creases and just makes such a mess. You only need a teeny tiny amount of glue. So I hated that glue, and I think after that I tried the Elmer's glue stick, which I still have one, and it does work. It's kind of the same thing as the crafter's tape. It's just not super permanent, but it does work if you have it in your house. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. It works. And then I found this Tombow Mono Liquid Glue, and this is sold at Michael's, and it's also on Amazon. And this is my go-to. It has two tips. This is the one that I primarily use. It's semi-fine point. It just says pen tip. It doesn't say fine point. I don't know that you'd call it fine point. And then it also has this side that has kind of like a spreader. If you're gluing like a large area, then you can spread it around. And I have used it and it is nice, but primarily I just use the top. And don't get confused and buy the clear with the blue cap. It is not the same. It is terrible. So with this though, I wanted something that was still a little more fine point. So I did find this Barely Art Precision Craft Glue on Amazon, and this does work really nicely. It comes with two different tips. It has this one that I've actually never used. I'm just thinking though that I think this is a little bit thinner than my Tombow one, so I probably should try it. But the problem with this one that I don't like, so this is the really fine point one, and this is the needle that it comes with to clean it. See the needle, it actually stops right there. This is the needle that's stuck in there because I thought I had it cleaned out, but I leave it in there to dry because sometimes if there's a little bit of glue, you can still get it out, but I guess I really did a terrible job cleaning it because it's completely stuck in there. You can soak it in rubbing alcohol and it will dissolve the glue and it will come free. It's just such a pain to clean it. I can't stand cleaning it because this one, you don't need to clean it. This one, you have to clean it. I think you would have to do this one too because it doesn't come with a cap. It only comes with this cap that goes on this. I wish it was like this with a cap because I feel like that wouldn't get stuck. I mean, this one, every once in a while it does, and I like stick a pin down in it and then it clears up, but not really. But I do use it almost every day, probably. So, but this is a good option if you want to try it and you want something super fine point. It just, you gotta remember, it is a pain to clean. So, oh, and also at some point, I don't remember when, I did try this Aleene's Tacky Glue. You can see I actually have used it a lot. It's not with paper crafting because it works, but it's super thick. And so it always, like, the points, you know, it just would like leave, you know what I mean? Like the other stuff was really thin and you know, the paper's right together, but this would like leave, you know, and not in a good way. So I don't recommend this for paper crafting, but it is good for other things. I'm not sure. I really used it a lot. I've had this forever. I don't know what I used it on, but it's good too. Also hot glue, of course. We are trusty hot glue gun. This is great as well. And this I use on my thicker papers like the craft cardstock, and especially this craft cardstock that has the gold foil on the top, because the shiny part does not like to hold glue. Like I don't know if the glue doesn't dry or something, but and then it's still slippery. I don't know, it's a mess. But hot glue works wonders because I have these little like I don't know what you call them, paper fans or paper stars that I made for New Year's, and the only thing that would work is the hot glue. So if you're doing a coated paper, hot glue is great. The only downfall is just, you know, it comes out pretty thick, and kind of like with the tacky glue, it dries with, you know, some thickness to it as well, but it does have its place. It's great for the thick papers. And one last glue product that I like is this Tombow pen glue, or glue pen, I guess it says it's called. This is so great. I found this on Amazon. So it has like a little ball, just like a regular pen, and you just push down and move it around, and then the glue comes out, and it's super fine point, and you don't have to clean it because you just put the cap back on. And it's kind of the same thing though with our crafter's tape or our glue stick. It's not super permanent, but if you have, like, a lot of my houses have like the thin slats or like a thin detail or like letters or something, and so you'd use like this glue on the outside and for all the other areas, but then for the teeny tiny ones you could add this just so that it doesn't pull away from the other, and then you see the gap, you know. So this is a very handy tool. I recommend this if you make a lot of like my houses. And I haven't seen this in any of the stores, but it is on Amazon. So, oh, one other thing that I like is this is and you might have seen it in my videos, disco ball. It's a pencil, I think it's a pencil holder, but I store mine upside down like this so that it comes out more easily. When it's brand new, I store it like this because it comes out too fast, but then once you've used it a while, and that is really nice. I used to store it in this little compartment on my Cricut, but now this part is just too shallow to hold it, so I switched to my disco ball, which is so fun. I love it. And this disco ball is from Five Below, but I haven't seen it since I bought it, and I go pretty often because kids. So that is my long-winded answer about glue. And again, Tombow Mono Liquid Glue. You can find it at Michael's or Amazon. And if you have any questions regarding glue, feel free to leave them in the comments below, as well as any Cricut craft questions. I'm always looking for new content ideas. And if you use something other than this that you love and think is better, or maybe it's not, you never use this, but you love it, let me know what it is, because I would love to know what you guys enjoy using and what works for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.